Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you our May 2020 budget and I'll be walking you through our actual household budget, showing you all of the income that we plan to bring in this month and how we plan to allocate or spend every dollar that we bring in with our budget. But before we get into it, I want to let you guys know if you want to get the budget template that I will be using today, you can actually get it for sale on my shop. I will have a link to it in the description box down below so you can check it out if you're interested. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos. Here on my channel, we talk about life and money. I'm actually having a baby in the month of May, so things are about to get crazy, and we are navigating all new parts of life with baby and finances, so definitely stay tuned. So without further ado, let's take a look at the budget. So like I said, we are having a baby this month, which is crazy. I'm due May 23rd with our first baby. We're having a boy and we're very excited. And this has obviously been something that we've been preparing for in our budget and in our finances for months now. And so our budget this month, some things are going to look the same and some things are going to look a little different. Obviously, I'm due more at the end of the month, so most of the month could probably be like a normal budget month, but obviously once baby gets here, things are going to be a little different. We're also living in the middle of a pandemic right now, so our budget also just looks a little bit funky. So just wanted to share that to preface this budget, and I can't believe that we're like finally here in the month of May. So first off in our budget, we have our income, and I have Jacob's income and my income individually blocked out, and that's just for privacy, but I do show you our side hustle income, and that is my business here, and so I'm bringing home $2,000 from my side business this month. So our total net take-home pay is going to be $7,254. We use a zero-based budget, which means that all of our income equals all of our expenses and savings, or all of our money out. And so every dollar gets a name in our budget. So now to show you where we plan to spend every single dollar. First off, with normal expenses, the first line item that I have here is our tithe. So Jacob and I are Christians. We believe in tithing and giving to our church and other organizations. So our tithe to our church this month is going to be $725.40, which is 10% of our take-home pay. Next we have is African New Life. This is another missions organization that we support. We support 2 kids in Rwanda through African New Life, and that is $78 a month. And then we support an additional missions organization for $40. Next we have is our mortgage payment. So our mortgage payment, like usual, is $2,398.60. We do live in Portland, Oregon, if that gives you any sort of reference. We are recent first-time home buyers. We just bought in September. So the next line item that we have is our HOA. So we live in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association, and we have to pay $121.46 each month. Our monthly HOA fee, it does cover landscaping, and they also take care of parks around the neighborhood. And there's also something to be said about like not having your neighbor be able to park their car in their front yard or something like that. So I totally feel fine paying this monthly HOA fee. Next we have is water and sewer, and this is usually around $94 to $95 a month. So I think I just copied over what we had paid last month. So $93.85 is what we have budgeted for water, sewer. Next we have is natural gas. So this is what we have to heat our house with, as well as use for appliances like our oven and stove and things like that. So that's usually around $40 a month. Next we have is our trash line item, and we actually only pay this every other month. So this is one of those months that we don't have to pay it. Next we have is electric, and we spend about $40 on electricity each month. And since we do have natural gas, electricity is just for lights in our home and anything else that we'd leave plugged in. The next line item that we have is internet, which I have here is $55. I've just copied this over from like months ago, so this is actually $49.95 now, so I'm going to update that in real time here, getting pretty fancy. And then we have our phones. So my husband and I were actually on our family's phone plans individually, so we just pay our families for our line of usage for our phones. So it's $117.33 a month. Then we have insurance. So car insurance, this should be $128.58 for this month. We have our car insurance through USAA, and we actually heard that they are going to be reimbursing people like a portion of their insurance policies because of the pandemic and no one's out driving and such. They are just kind of passing along those savings back to the customer. So I don't know when that's supposed to come up, but I'm just going to budget the full $128.58 for now, and we'll see what happens with getting that like little reimbursement from them. Then we have life insurance. We have a policy for Jacob and myself, and together that is $52.89. Next we have is groceries. So we normally spend about $300 on groceries. I'm going to up it this month to $350. One reason being this is the time of pandemic, and I'm sure that you guys are experiencing differences in your grocery shopping now than what it was a few months ago. For us, we're going to the grocery store every 2 weeks, and we also just do grocery pickup. We don't like physically go in. But the other thing that I was really wanting to do to get ready for having a baby was to make a ton of like freezer meals, like Instant Pot dump meals. And it's just a little crazy to be doing that right now. I hope that I can still do that. That's my goal. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would have gone to Costco to get a whole bunch of things that I could use to make recipes in like freezer meal bags. But we are trying to avoid going to stores right now, so I don't think that we're going to be going to Costco. Anyway, I'm going to try and get everything that I need to do that. I still want to be able to do that. I think I'm just going to try to get those things from our Fred Meyer as our local Kroger with grocery pickup. So that being said, I plan to spend a little bit more on food this month because I'm trying to prepare for once baby's here so that we don't have to go to the grocery store and make a bunch of meals. I want to pre-make a bunch of things. We do have a deep freezer, which is fantastic, so I can easily freeze things and have things just like ready to go, meals ready for when our son is here. The next line item that we have is eating out. I'm gonna put $50 there. We normally put $100, but we haven't eaten out since the first weekend of March. That was the last time we were out in public. And so maybe we'll get to do something in the month of May. I'm hopeful, but I can't say that's for certain. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit allocated there. I would love to go on like one last date with my husband before baby's here. We didn't get to go on like a baby moon or do anything like that. My entire third trimester has been in quarantine. So I'd love to be able to do something, but I'm not sure what that'll look like given the circumstances. But I'm gonna just budget something there and we'll see what happens. Then we have gas. Gas, we normally spend like $150 a month on gas, and obviously we are not going anywhere right now. We've both been very fortunate to still have our jobs and we're able to work from home, and so we don't drive anywhere except to go get grocery pickup, and for me to go to the doctor, now I'm going to have to go every week. So we haven't had to fill up our cars in the month of April, and I'm not sure if we will in the month of May. But with gas prices also being so low, I anticipate that being around $100. It'll honestly probably be less though, just since we aren't really planning on driving in the middle of a pandemic, but also once we have a baby, we're also not going to be going anywhere. So gas, actually I may lower this to like 75 because that's like one fill up for each of us usually, and that's still going to be very generous given the times. The next thing that we have is pretty exciting. Our next goal is working on investing. Our plan is to max out our Roth IRAs this year, and actually I should take out my name. Jacob and I each have a Roth IRA, so we are working on maxing those out. So this month we plan to put $2,000 into our Roth IRAs. We recently finished completing our goal of having 6 months of necessary expenses in an emergency fund. So now that that is done, our next big goal is investing. So I'm really excited about that. $2,000 going to that goal this month. The next line item that I have is fun for $50. Not gonna lie, I don't know what we could spend money on that's for fun in the time being. And normally we'll do like an experience of some kind with this money, like going to Topgolf or, you know, going to do something. So obviously that's probably not gonna be happening, but again, I'll just leave it in the budget, see if we wanna do, if we can spend money on some sort of last hurrah before baby's here, especially, you know, given the times. Okay, and then the last thing that we have is miscellaneous. We're putting $100 to the miscellaneous category. It's so important to have a miscellaneous line item in your budget because there's always something that will come up during the month that you weren't anticipating spending money on, or maybe you just don't have a category for it in your budget because it's so infrequent. So we just put anything random like that to miscellaneous. So we have $100 this month going there. Also, I wanted to go back real fast. I've had people ask questions of why I don't put my Roth IRA line item here down in my savings section of my budget, and that is simply because the savings section that I have in my budget that I'll show you next is what we are having as cash on hand in our own bank account, whereas the Roth IRA gets auto debited out of my account and goes somewhere else. So I kind of view this more as like an expense out of my bank account, whereas the savings items are things that I'm keeping track of personally. So obviously the Roth IRA is a savings item, but it's just being auto debited and going somewhere else, and I'm not the one who's like holding those funds. So that's why it's listed up here instead of down in the savings line item. So the next thing that we have are all of the things that we're saving for. So first off, we have our emergency fund. So like I said, we have over $25,000 in that. We have our emergency fund parked in a high yield interest savings account with Ally Bank. And so as of right now, it's accrued a tiny little bit of interest. And so that is our balance there, over $25,000. Next, we have Jacob. Jacob gets $100 of personal spending money each month. And I love having our personal spending money in the savings section of our budget because we can decide to either save that money each month or spend it. So Jacob gets $100. He can do whatever he wants with it. Next, I also get $100 of personal spending money. I normally spend mine on going to like Starbucks once a week. Obviously, I don't spend $100 each month on going to Starbucks once a week, but having the permission to spend on that kind of thing is really nice for me. But obviously, I'm not going to Starbucks right now, so there's that. So I'll just let it accumulate and see if there's something later on that I want to get myself. The next thing that we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into an extra giving fund, and this allows us to be able to say yes to additional giving opportunities if they come up. And then we have our vacation fund. So we haven't been putting any money to a vacation fund since we've been pregnant because we've been working on saving for baby-related expenses. That being said, we're also not anticipating going on a vacation anytime soon given the pandemic. But honestly, I really hope that like once this is all over, we can go somewhere. And that may be for a while. I'm not sure. Who knows? But I want to start saving for us to be able to take a vacation eventually, which would be very nice. So $300 this month is going into the vacation fund. It may be a year and a half from now that we actually get to go somewhere. Who knows? But I'm going to start saving for it now. And that way too, we can save up and go do something like really nice, which would be fantastic. Next we have is Christmas. We're putting $50 a month into a Christmas fund, and that way, once we get to December, we'll have all of this money saved up for Christmas and we won't have to worry about it blowing our December budget. Then we are putting $75 into a car maintenance fund. This will cover any sort of routine maintenance that we need to do with our car, as well as any sort of like emergency maintenance that we need to have done with our cars. So $75 goes there. Another thing that's being added to our budget now that we have completed our emergency fund is saving money in a house maintenance fund. So we plan to save $350 each month into a house maintenance fund. I've heard that a good guideline could be to save 1% of your house value for the year. So breaking up like 1% of our house value divided by 12 months would be $350 a month. And we're going to save that much each month to be able to cover any sort of house repair that may come up or any other sort of house maintenance project that may need to get done. We are anticipating doing some sod in our backyard, which is not very big. So that's something that we do want to do this summer and shouldn't cost that much, but we're going to start saving for those sort of house related expenses. Which this also is something that I've really been looking forward to because this is kind of like a buffer for our emergency fund. Like if we had something go wrong with our house, hopefully we can pull that from our house maintenance fund rather than touching the emergency fund. So I'm that protective of the emergency fund, especially during these times, as I'm sure you guys could understand. Next we have is household. So we're putting $100 this month into our household fund. This covers things like toilet paper, which is a hot commodity. Maybe we can get some in the month of May, as well as any sort of like detergent or soap or any sort of just like household product. So $100 is going there. And then we are actually taking out $412 from our baby fund. We've been saving every extra penny we can from our budget to put towards our baby fund. And that is just to save up for baby supplies and anything else that we may need. Thankfully, we have kind of purchased all of the things that we need for baby. And we've also been shown immense generosity from our family and friends, and also from some of you guys online, which is crazy to me. And so we have all of the things that we need, and we still have money left in our baby fund. All of our medical expenses for baby are going to be taken care of with our health savings account, which is outside of our budget here. So all of that's covered. And so I'm going to start then just like taking money back out of that fund. The big thing that we're trying to do is cover that Roth IRA. So I'm just taking money out of it to be able to put towards our Roth IRA and balance out our budget. So, and actually, as I look down here at the bottom of our budget, because I made some adjustments here, my budget shows that I have $30.05 to spend. So I'm going to just add it back into the baby fund to take out less here. So $382 is what I'll take out of the fund to be able to put more towards the Roth IRA and kind of just move money around in these funds. So as you can see here, our total out is $7,254, which is the same as the income that we're bringing in. So the difference that we have is 0, and we have a 0-based budget. So that is a look at our budget for the month of May. Don't forget, if you want to check out this budget template, you can get it with the link in the description box down below. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more budgeting videos, and also probably some baby videos, as we are having a baby in a month. So it's insane. And with that, I will look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.
Did you ever stop?